You don't need $10,000 to own something luxurious. What separates a real luxury watch from a mall kiosk fashion piece is craftsmanship and intention, not the price tag. Here are 8 watches worth buying at 8 different budgets, so no matter what you have to spend, you walk away knowing exactly what to look for. Seiko 5, under $200. The Seiko 5 is the best entry point in watches, period. It gives you a real automatic movement, ticking from springs and gears instead of a battery, for under $150 in most cases. That's not a gimmick. It's the same fundamental technology that powers watches costing 50 times as much. The finishing won't be perfect, the bracelet might feel light, and accuracy will drift a little more than a quartz watch, but the engineering underneath is completely legitimate. This is how you learn what you actually like in a watch before spending real money on something bigger. Citizen Promaster, $200 to $500. The Citizen Promaster diver runs on solar-powered eco-drive technology, which means it essentially never needs a battery change. You get real water resistance, a genuinely tough case, and on some models, sapphire crystal, which resists scratches far better than the mineral glass found on cheaper watches. This is also where watches start to feel like jewelry. They have weight, they have presence on the wrist, and they hold value better than fashion brands charging the same price. It's a tool watch you could actually dive with, not just one that looks like it. Hamilton Khaki Field, $500 to $1,500. This is genuinely one of the most exciting price categories in watch collecting, and the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical earns its place with ease. Priced at around $600, it delivers a level of heritage and authenticity that is difficult to find elsewhere. Inspired by military-issued field watches, it draws from real service history and has even appeared in major films, adding to its appeal among enthusiasts. The hand-wound movement, durable construction, and highly legible dial create a watch that feels purposeful rather than flashy. At this price, you're no longer simply buying a device that tells time. You're investing in a design philosophy and brand heritage that connects you to generations of watchmaking tradition. Its clean layout, rugged reliability, and timeless styling make it a watch that can comfortably remain on your wrist for decades of daily wear. Tudor Black Bay, $1,500 to $5,000. The Tudor Black Bay is Rolex's sister brand, and it shows in every detail. You get genuine in-house movement technology and a vintage diver design pulled straight from Rolex's own history, all at a fraction of the price you'd pay for the real thing. This is the tier where patience and research really pay off. The used market is especially powerful here too, since older references can sometimes be found for less if you know what to look for and buy from a reputable dealer. Rolex Submariner, $5,000 to $15,000. The Rolex Submariner is the watch most people picture the moment they hear the word luxury. Getting one at retail is its own challenge given current demand, but it remains the benchmark against which every other dive watch is measured. At this tier, you're paying for in-house engineering, decades of brand reputation, and finishing details, polished edges, brushed surfaces, finely cut crowns that simply don't exist at lower price points. The difference is visible and tactile the moment you hold one in your hands. Omega Speedmaster, $15,000 to $40,000. The Omega Speedmaster carries something most watches never will: genuine space exploration history. Famously worn during NASA missions and on the surface of the moon, the Speedmaster earned a place not only in watchmaking history but in human history itself. That connection gives the watch a sense of authenticity and purpose that few luxury timepieces can match. At around $30,000 for higher-end references and collectible editions, the Speedmaster enters serious enthusiast and collector territory. Beyond its story, it remains an outstanding watch in its own right. The chronograph function is practical for everyday use, the case proportions are beautifully balanced, and the design has remained remarkably timeless for decades. The brand's heritage, engineering reputation, and association with space exploration make it one of the strongest narratives in the entire watch industry. This is not simply a watch you purchase to tell time or complete a collection. It is a watch you buy to wear a piece of history on your wrist and become part of a legacy that stretches from Earth to the moon. Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, $40,000 to $80,000. The Audemars Piguet Royal Oak changed sports watch design forever with its iconic octagonal bezel, exposed screws, and seamlessly integrated bracelet. Designed by Gerald Genta in the early 1970s, it challenged the traditional idea that luxury watches had to be made from precious metals and formal designs. Even in its smaller and simpler configurations, the Royal Oak carries an unmistakable silhouette that instantly stands out across a room. Its sharp lines, detailed finishing, and balanced proportions have helped it remain one of the most recognizable watches ever created. At around $25,000, entry into the Royal Oak world is possible, but demand has pushed many references far beyond that figure on the secondary market. Finding one at this price often requires patience, careful research, and a trusted dealer. At this level, the decision becomes less about specifications and more about personal taste. You're no longer simply buying a watch, you are choosing a design icon whose character and aesthetic genuinely resonate with you. Patek Philippe Calatrava, $80,000 and beyond. The Patek Philippe Calatrava is often considered the starting point for owning a watch from one of the most respected luxury watch brands in the world. Its design is simple, elegant, and timeless, following a style that has remained largely unchanged for many decades. This is because the original design was so well balanced that it never needed major updates. When someone buys a Calatrava, they are not simply purchasing a watch to tell the time. They are investing in a piece of craftsmanship, history, and tradition. Every watch is made with incredible care and attention, even in areas that most owners will never see. The company uses decades of watchmaking knowledge and many techniques developed in-house to create each piece. The quality is meant to last for generations with proper care. Many owners see the Calatrava as a family heirloom that can be passed from parents to children. It represents patience, excellence, and a commitment to making things the right way rather than the fastest way. Vacheron Constantin Patrimony, $25,000 to $50,000. The Vacheron Constantin Patrimony comes from the oldest continuously operating watch manufacturer in the world, and it shows in every restrained line. There's no logo shouting for attention, no flashy complication trying to impress anyone, just pure proportion and centuries of credibility on a single dial. At this level, you're not buying recognition from strangers on the street. You're buying the quiet confidence of knowing exactly what you're wearing and why it matters, even if nobody else in the room understands it. Grand Seiko Snowflake, $3,000 to $6,000. The Grand Seiko Snowflake uses spring drive technology, a hybrid movement that blends mechanical power with quartz-level accuracy, finished with a dial inspired by snow falling on the brand's home region in Japan. The texture on that dial is unlike anything coming out of Switzerland. Grand Seiko's case finishing, sharp facets and mirror-polished surfaces mixed with brushed texture, is done entirely by hand and rivals brands costing 3 or 4 times as much. If you want something that breaks from the usual Swiss playbook while still competing at the same level of craftsmanship, this is the watch that proves you don't have to choose between originality and quality. If this video helped you see the watch world a little differently, hit that subscribe button right now. I'm putting out more content just like this, breaking down what's actually worth your money at every price range. No fluff, no sponsorships pushing you towards stuff you don't need. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next one.